We can do it. It's starting now. So, hi, this is Robin Thomas with Living Well Connections, and I am so thrilled to be here in her office live with Liz Kahn. She has just been a dear friend ever since I met you across at a BNI meeting. We saw each other way across the room, and we just went,
I have to know her.
Right. It's great. And she has just helped the Living Well Connections community so much. She spearheaded some wonderful things together with other practitioners, working on some ways to improve the knowledge of holistic health. It's fantastic.
Kind of break down some of those barriers.
Break down the barriers.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm a breaker of barriers.
Breaker of barriers. But Liz is phenomenal. She works with behavioral therapy. And when I first met her, I had no idea what she did. And it took a few times of going to some of your workshops to help figure that out. But I know that if you're looking at this video and you're meeting Liz for the first time, you're going like, what? So we're going to let Liz tell us all about what she does. But I want to know, what I really like to know is how you got interested
in what I'm doing now.
In what you're doing now. How did you get interested? I mean, you can say a little bit about what you do.
Okay.
The behavioral therapy.
You see, I'm getting a little excited.
Yeah.
So you talk about behavioral therapy. I spent 20 years working in the world of autism. As my title when I first got started was behavior analyst, and that was about 15 years before there was a title behavior analyst that you had to get certified in. So I was a behavior analyst long before there were actual behavior analysts. And I worked with nonverbal children who had high incidence of injurious behavior and very low communication. And I would get these kids, and my supervisors would always say, oh, this is going to be really difficult. You know, this kid has a lot of behaviors. And I didn't have as many challenges with the kids as other people seem to. I had no idea when I started that why, right? I've always loved kids. It was easy for me to connect with kids whether or not they had language. So for me, that was an easy connect. Now, fast forward, recognizing that the reason that they enjoyed working with me, or the reason that we got such great results, was because I could help them regulate their emotions.
Oh, so important.
When you're feeling good and connected to somebody, it's easier to do stuff with them. It's easier to function in your world when you feel non-oppressed. And I will say that in that way because children with autism, especially we're talking 3, 4, 5 years old, they have no control over anything in their lives.
Right.
They don't, and they don't even have the capacity to be able to share with others what's going on.
Yeah, the communication is not there.
Right.
For the vast majority.
And so what I started realizing was that I could understand these children who did not speak so much better than I could understand humans in the world who did speak. And I found that language tends to hem us up a lot. And when we can use language in a way that can hurt people or ourselves, or uplift people or ourselves, which is really, I mean, you know, the pit in my story is when I decided to leave the world of autism after 17 years. I had been accepted into a doctoral program for clinical psychology. I was going to go help people.
Mm-hmm.
And then my son got an autism diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
And I said, really? So one of my favorite stories to share with people about the old Liz is that I used to be very, very angry. Like, I was angry at everything. And I talked to myself.
I know you've said this to me before, and I'm going like,
I know.
I don't see it.
I know. It's hard to
so
imagine.
This is like the magic of you.
Well, it's the magic of the tools, I will say. Because, so my son gets this autism diagnosis. I have to leave my clinical psych doctoral program, which was a blessing and a curse at the same time. We'll see. But I felt like I had no control over anything. And then with the autism diagnosis in California, my son got funneled into a 25-hour-a-week program. Mm-hmm. And I had left my 120-hour-a-week doctoral program. So I had nothing but time on my hands and my anger. Ooh. This LinkedIn was just getting started, I guess, or maybe it was 5 years into it. And I just remember sitting at home in that first week where my son was at school, my 3-year-old. And I saw this article that said, measurable results in mental health. And I scoffed because I had just come from a doctoral program where I realized there's no such thing as measurable results, right? But this guy's saying there are. Mm-hmm. And defining normal was the other thing that he had written. And I was...
What's normal?
Right? And so here's me looking at it going, I mean, I was cursing and scoffing. And then I saw a phone number at the top of the article. And I picked up the phone. Sure did. So when I called and, you know, the name on the articles was what I would have considered a woman's name. So I'm going to apologize if you ever see this, Dr. Burris. I thought you were a woman initially. So a man answers the phone and I'm thinking, I can ask 1,000 questions. And I did. Mm-hmm. And at some point, this man's pronouns changed from we to I. And I said, who am I speaking to? And he said, oh, well, my name is Kelly Burris. Oh. And he followed that statement by saying, and you sound angry. Mm-hmm. And my words were, oh, and you're psychic too. Oh. The man laughed. Yes. He laughed, yes. Right? And this is something that I have cultivated, that I'm able to take somebody's nastiness and recognize that it's actually not about me, which I'm so grateful he was able to because he didn't hang up the phone. In fact, he challenged me in that moment. And he said, I'm going to give you this thing, and I want you to do this tonight and tomorrow morning. And within 24 hours, if you have not, or I think what he said, if you have experienced the change that I expect you'll experience, you need to call me back and get certified in this program. Wow. So I'm going to tell you, I woke up the next day and literally I didn't feel like a different person. I didn't feel lighter. I wasn't walking on air, but my husband made a joke and I laughed. And he like ducked, right? He was like, what's she going to do? But I laughed and I didn't think anything else of it. At the time, I had a very difficult pregnancy and, you know, it was 7 months of just badness. I had gained a lot of weight and I refused to exercise in front of anybody. So that day I put on an exercise video and people were there and I exercised anyway. Wow. So it's like 5:30 and my husband goes, I don't think I've ever seen you do that before. And I went, I have to get certified in this program now. And that was literally what opened the door. It was my skepticism and anger that led me to this place where now I have the simplest tools on earth that I can teach people so that they can also experience the freedom from the emotions that were trapping them before. And anger absolutely trapped me. I know. Isn't that a beautiful story? I know.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you for letting me tell you.
I love that story. So now here you are.
Yeah, it's been about 9 years. Mm-hmm.
And so how do you help your clients? How do you take that? Or what is a typical, there's never a typical scenario.
Right.
At all.
Right.
But
honestly,
what would someone who is watching them, you know, looking and wondering, would I like to work with Liz? Mm-hmm. You know, what could they expect, at least, especially at the beginning?
Well, so my program is very short. It's very short. I mean, I personally was in therapy for 30 years, and as I mentioned, still angry.
Yeah.
My program runs 5 weeks. 6 if the data isn't exactly where I want it to be, right? And it is data-driven, so I do track my clients' progress. When they start with me, they come and they learn the basic tools. Mm-hmm. So when I work with somebody, we individualize the tools for them. We can personalize them, but the tools are the tools. You get a hammer, a screwdriver, and a wrench, and you learn how to hold it properly so that you can utilize it for.
So they're
it's not actual tools, right? They're cognitive tools. And
well, I've been to your workshop,
yes.
So these are like systems and tools and things that you can do. But but you got this. It's an education.
It is.
It's an education, but it's for helping yourself.
Well, and truly, I mean, I love to do this. Can I give away a secret here?
Sure.
Okay. So the basic foundation of everything in my program is about how we talk to ourselves, right? And I know that a lot of people have heard this, like, you can interrupt a thought, but if you don't know what to do with it afterwards, then it's going to keep coming back.
Right.
And so
I call those the gerbils in your mind.
Yeah, or some people call them gremlins.
Gremlins.
Like, I've heard all sorts of things. They're the critters.
Yeah.
And there's this notion of the critter brain, right? It's trying to protect you. And that's the bottom line. All of this is, all of our processes inside are trying to protect us. The problem is that the things that served to protect us when we were 7, 8, 9, 10 are causing us to get fired and lose relationships when we're in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. This is no joke. We are in the habit of talking to ourselves. And I know you talk about habit change too. I only want to change one habit, right? That is how we're talking to ourselves. It seems so simple, but it is really dramatic how your life can change, how my life changed, how my clients' lives have changed. And I have the graphs on every single one of them.
I love it.
Data!
Science.
And that's like that was the thing. Anytime I'd go into a therapist, they'd say, what feels important for you to talk about today? And I would break out my list that I had been cultivating all week. What's important to tell my therapist? And by the end of that 50-minute hour, she would say, well, our time is up. We'll have to pick this up next week. So when you're working with me the first week, I am going to ask for about 5 hours of your time. And we're going to break that up into 2 sessions, and you're going to learn everything. And from that, we have 4 or 5 weeks where we meet after that for 90 minutes at a time. And that is really about making sure that you can utilize the tools in every aspect of your life. Mm-hmm. So like I had one person who came to me because she was having trouble in her marriage, right? She was also a business owner. So we're focusing on the tools on communication with her husband and what next best steps might be. And then as that resolved in 2 weeks, 20 years of fighting, just saying.
Wow.
I know, because it's not about resolving the problem. It's about resolving the communication and how it's heard. So after that, she goes, Liz, I just realized that I could be using this in my practice too. And I was like, yeah, because that's what the wealth part is.
Yeah.
And if I may, I just like when I work with people, we work in the areas of love, health, wealth, and self-image.
Right.
And we seek to eliminate fear, guilt, anger, and hopelessness as drivers of our behavior.
Oh, that's so powerful. Can you repeat that?
We seek to eliminate fear, guilt, anger, and hopelessness as drivers of our behavior. Because what do we know? When I'm in a bad mood, everyone knows it. I can't hide it, even if I try. When I am positioned from an emotional state of love, even when people are unkind to me, it's amazing how I can still wrap my arms around them because I know how to use all of my emotions as information.
Absolutely.
And that is empowerment.
That is such empowerment for anyone in their whole lives.
Right.
I mean, that's definitely changing lifestyle.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, and recognizing that, like, negative emotions, like on that spectrum of painful emotions, our emotions are supposed to inform us, not to crush us. And when you're experiencing those emotions, the way that you talk to yourself is going to dictate how you resolve it. So
Absolutely.
I hope
that's
people
fantastic.
do that. That's it.
Well, with that, okay, so what is the favorite part of your business? What is the favorite part of working with people?
Okay. I love seeing that transformation between the first and second week, right? So between the first and second week, I get this surge when I get the text message that says, what did you just do to me? I just enjoyed my sister-in-law, right? And for real. I love seeing that. I love the response that I get. I will say that the flip side of that is that 2 weeks later, I'm crying because they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're good. And I seek to make myself obsolete. I mean, that's my business model.
Take their wings and go.
Yes. So, there's always great joy. And I think the even bigger part is that my graduates I get to keep in other ways. So my graduates get a lot of freebies for me continuing, because one thing I do know about any tools, if you don't pick them up for a while, you slip back into old patterns. So I do my best to help people where they are by prompting questions. I have a WhatsApp group that graduates
kind of
can
an
participate.
accountability group, a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying accountability.
It's really
working it.
Yeah, no, it's really just reminders. And it's a demonstration. Like, I am not somebody who's just hawking snake oil. I use these tools every day myself because life doesn't stop throwing itself at me. And sometimes it's unpleasant, but I can't let it crush me.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, this is phenomenal. Yeah. Yes.
I know, right?
So, how do we reach you? That's the important thing.
So,
and I wanted to have a different question. Is it always face to face, or can you do this online?
I love that question. Thank you. Because I did move here from California, and I still have quite a few clients in California. I actually prefer, even if we are local, that we do a couple of sessions virtually, because I want my clients to use their tools where they need them, learn their tools where they need them. Because you can come into my office and feel great when you leave, but if you can't apply it in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your car,
right. Awesome.
What good is it? So yeah, online is perfect.
That's great. So this is just for people. This is for people
everywhere.
Who are here in North Carolina, but people anywhere.
Right. Workshops do tend to be live, local, but for services, that would be hard to do.
That would be tough.
But services, individuals, groups, couples, I can definitely port in online, and you can find more information at lizkahn.com.
Lizkahn.com.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely put the links below. Do you like people to connect with you on social media?
Social media works.
One favorite social media platform that you like to be connected with? You're looking at me.
Social media is not usually my favorite, but you can always find me on Facebook, and I'm working towards being more active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So
go to her website.
Yes,
LizKahn.com. That is the best. That's the best place to find Liz.
That really
definitely reach out.
And you can text me. My phone number is on there. You can text me with questions. And actually, on my website, I actually have a chat function now. And it's me. It's not a bot. It's actually me.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. So go directly to the source. Go to lizkahn.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin.
Wonderful. So
this is great. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much for having me.
Happy to.
Huzzah.